Good evening, everybody. How are you doing? It's Friday, it's 8 o'clock, and that means it's time for Orpington Virtual Jazz Club. Can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up. Can you hear the music? All right, that's a good start. So, I'm very excited this evening, ladies and gentlemen, to have a wonderful guest. He's a... Let me just fade that a little bit. He's an absolutely incredible musician, super talented musician, multi-instrumentalist of the absolute highest standard. He plays all the saxophones, sopranino, soprano, alto, tenor and baritone. He plays all the flutes, the piccolo flute, alto flute, bass flute. He's also a very accomplished guitarist and a drummer and a percussionist and a composer and a performer who's worked all over the world with some of the top artists. And he's here and he's live and he's tuning in all the way right now from Southampton. Are you there, Lee? We're not getting you, mate. Ah, right. So let's... can you turn your sound on? Let me just turn this off. So, can you hear me, Lee? Someone is not muted. Oh, here we go. Let's try this again. I'm going to have to mute everybody. Okay, and then Lee, if I can unmute you. Maybe that's... No, we've got no sound. Can anyone hear Lee? Shake your heads or nod your head. Okay. So we'll have to... what we're going to do then is... We did about an hour sound check this afternoon. So while we get Lee on the line, I think I'll play his first track for us. So as I said, Lee is an amazing musician, multi-instrumentalist. He plays with such soul. It just absolutely blows me away every time I've heard him and played with him. And we're going to start with his first track. Lee, you're muted. Can you unmute, Lee? I think you have to do it at your end. No, it's not coming through. Okay. What I'm going to do, Lee, is I'm going to play this track and then we'll have another go. So we're going to start, ladies and gentlemen. We've got so much music to get through, so we're going to steam straight in. And this is a track by the Kirk Leitzy trio, the fantastic American pianist Kirk Leitzy. In addition to all his other great talents, Lee also ran a studio for many years, and as a sound engineer, he recorded some great jazz albums there from some of the top UK and visiting jazz artists. And this is an album that Lee recorded at his studio. It's the Kirk Leitzy trio, and it features Steve Watts on the bass and the wonderful Dave Wickens on the drums, Kirk Leitzy on the piano, very, very wonderful American piano players, just played with just about everybody. And apparently Lee was in the studio twiddling the knobs, and Kirk turned around and just said to him, right, you're going to play on this. And without any warning, Lee had to get his horn out and slot it together, and in about 30 seconds notice managed to pull this out of the bag. So this is Golden Legacy. Yeah, that's the Kirk Leitzy trio there, featuring Lee Goodall guesting on that track. And the album is If You're Not Having Fun by Now. So, Lee, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Hello, mate. Sorry about that.
Oh, great.
I think that might have been me.
Here, and Liz Norton said, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Liz.
I think I just had it turned off here. Oh, there's too many buttons. How are you, mate?
Good time at the start.
Thanks for coming down. It's lovely to see you. And it's
Lovely to see you, Master. Thanks for having me on the show, man.
Oh, it's great. Thanks for sharing your time with us. It's amazing going back through some of these tracks that you've done. There's some absolutely beautiful music here.
Oh, thank you.
So do you want to I just mentioned briefly about that session. So Kirk Leitzy, of course, ladies and gentlemen, was he's from Detroit, I think, isn't he, Lee? And he's top. He was in New York. Did you know him in the 70s in New York when you were there?
No, I didn't know him, but I saw him play with Dexter Gordon at the Village Gate one night.
There you go. Yeah. Well, he toured. He was with Dexter Gordon for many years, wasn't he? Sort of touring with him a lot. Chet Baker, famously as well, played piano for him. So, he's a great musician.
He had one of the original Leo Fender used to give him stuff to tour with, like a piano and amplifiers,
Wow.
He had one of the first original Fender Rhodes pianos,
Did he?
I said, you should get that back, Kirk. It's worth a lot of money. He said, well, I haven't seen it for like 40 years or something. He's a really great guy.
So that was recorded in your studio, wasn't it? In Newport, wasn't it? And
I had lots of musicians come by, and it was great times. Did it for about 6 years. Recorded a lot of albums. And
you did a lot of records. Was it only 6 years you had that studio? Because you got a lot of albums out. There's a great one by Liam Noble Trio as well, wasn't there? The Dave Brubeck album they did there with you.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. It's a 2-day recording session, and we used to be able to put people up as well, so everyone would stay in the house and we'd cook and everything. It was really good times, and
it was a fantastic. It was a fantastic setup. I remember coming to visit you there, and it was it's an incredible setup you had there. So we've got a lot of music to get through, so we're gonna move on to this White Magic from. This is one of your tracks that you wrote and played on after visiting Gambia in 1998. And this is you're playing every instrument on this recording. Is this right?
Yeah, I love a long-term sort of multi-tracker. I used to do it when I was about 14. Record on one sort of reel-to-reel, and then play along with that and record on the second one. So I always loved bouncing tracks around, and I'll never stop doing that. So
amazing.
And it allows me to play all the different instruments that I love to play, like saxophone, percussion, and I bought a balafon, which is like a sort of a marimba.
Right.
And the track is built around that, plus I put armfuls of percussion back, and I love the way they accented the second beat on a lot of rhythms when I saw bands play locally.
Yeah.
They sort of go one, hit two really hard. Like, it's great. And so I did this in 7/8.
Yeah. In 7, fantastic. And there's I noticed in the pictures there that you had a big pile of gongs and cymbals. Are those the ones that you're playing on this?
Not on this. They're made by Steve Hubbard. He was a Welshman, and he's moved to Europe. He's a great player himself, like in improvised and free music. But he made some original stuff in the 90s, and I used to buy it. He used to come over from Europe, call me up, and I'd go over here. He'd come to my house, and I'd buy a gong to help pay his airfare.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say you've got a great love of instruments as well, because you have quite a collection, don't you? And you always have done. And remember when I came to visit you with all the you've got more. You're the only drummer I've met with more drums than me. Okay, so
I've only got 3 now, but
you've only got 3 drum kits. Oh, yeah, right. You've cut down a bit. I think I'm beating you at the moment then. So we're going to hear this track. This is White Magic, and it's featuring Lee performing on all the instruments, and it's a tune that he wrote as well. White Magic. Here we go. that's fantastic. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Give him a round of applause. That's beautiful music. And that is Lee's tune. Lee playing on it. Lee recorded it. Lee. I mean, it's amazing, mate. It's incredible.
Yeah, I've got
Beautiful sound.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, there was all sorts of different recording machines over the years. You know, I think that was an Akai 12-track hard disc that I had, and you know, later on I moved to a bigger system. I had a big desk in the studio, 48-way desk for a while, and then I've still got the gear sort of behind me here. So with a small mixer. So
for just for the audience, perhaps we could just talk a little bit about some of the things you've worked on and done. You're from Southampton, that's right, isn't it? And you've toured all over the place. You've been worked with some amazing artists. You moved out to New York in the 70s for quite a few years, didn't you? And how did that? Tell us how that gig came about, Lee. With Jess.
I had a friend who wrote music, John Cartwright, who unfortunately he died about a year and a half ago. Had a heart problem, but he was a songwriter for an artist called Jess Roden, who was with Island Records.
Yeah.
And in 1968, the summer, he said, "Come on, let's go to New York. Jess is recording an album."
Right.
So I went, with another friend who played bass, and we worked on tracks. They had Phil Ramone as the producer, and
wow. The famous Phil. So this is some pretty heavyweight guys, right? The famous Phil Ramone, producer, and Island Records, of course. Chris Blackwell, who brought Bob Marley to the world's attention. So this is some pretty heavyweight dudes you're hanging with in New York. And
Phil Ramone kind of liked me and got me on some sessions with Billy Joel's band as well.
Wow.
And I had no idea who they were. I turned up at the studio, and this guy came in a suit, and he had one of the first Sinclaviers,
Sinclair, yeah.
He had a suit, and he was a wreck for it, and we all gathered around. He played all these strange sounds on it, and anyway, I did the session. We went to the pub after, and the guys were talking about Billy. I said, "Who's Billy?" We're Billy Joel's band.
Billy Joel, yeah, fantastic, yeah.
Bob Marley and Liberty DeVito and Dave Brown, the three guys who were on the session, and that was quite great, really great. Eating very hot, spicy chicken, I remember, as well. Heavy chicken stuff, and we were all munching away.
Yeah. Liberty DeVito's the drummer, isn't he? He's been with him forever, hasn't he? Like, that's his main drummer.
He's like a linear player, he kind of plays a bit like some Gad, in that way, with passing things through the tom. Really great, really great.
And then you worked with Steve Gadd and Will Lee, is it? Those guys out there? What was that? That was a session.
They were the session musicians, basically. So they got Marcus Miller and Will Lee.
Marcus Miller from for the ladies and gentlemen, Marcus Miller was the bass player with Miles Davis, right? So yeah, some pretty heavyweight.
I saw the day with Dr. John in the studio, and he brought these drums that were on a record he'd made, Cooler Than Mama, that Coltrane had made. And he'd had these two drums, and when he came up to do the recording in New York, they got broken, and I went out to 48th Street trying to get them reheaded for him. I couldn't, but it was great.
Those sort of situations that you couldn't dream of, and then you're running up and down trying to get some drum skins for him. Amazing.
Oh, well, exactly. But I played with him in Brecon about 4 or 5 years ago as well, so it was great. But he couldn't remember the session,
And then, so I'm gonna just jiggle things around a little on this format. We're gonna go to a bit of video now that we've got, and this is of you because then when you came back to England after that, you were touring again with a whole bunch of people. You were working with some really big British names and that. But then you got into you were with Van Morrison for several years, weren't you? Touring with him.
Yeah, 3 years basically. Yeah.
3 years, yeah. And we found on the internet, I found some footage, didn't I? And so this is a concert you did with Van Morrison in Warsaw, is that right?
Yes, yeah.
What was the year of that? It was around about 2000 something, wasn't it?
2001.
2001. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so we're going to play a little bit of this now, and we've got some footage here featuring Lee on the flute live in Warsaw with the Van Morrison band. So now I need 3 Hail Marys to make sure this works. So here we go. Right, I've got to remember to press that, and then press that.
Show me pictures in the gallery. Show me novels on the shelf. Put my hands across the table. Tell me knowledge of myself. Show me visions, show me nightmares. Yellow dreams that never end. Show me light out of the tunnel. When there was darkness all around instead. While I was torn down, I rambled. Yellow is my riding become. Torn down, I ramble. Though it's hard sometimes, you know it hurts sometimes.
Oh.
Shopping words and means emotion. Show me what it's like to be. Give me days of deep devotion. Show me things I could not see. Well, I was torn down in a ramble. Yeah, I wish my message would come. Torn down in a ramble. Though it's hard sometimes. Though it's hard sometimes. So many visions, so many nightmares. Got me dreams that never end.
Yeah. And that is, of course, Van the Man with Lee on the flute, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a nice round of applause for that. So, yeah. Lovely, Lee. I've seemed to have muted you. Sorry, mate. If you can click that back on again. So, that was Lee touring with Van Morrison in Warsaw in Poland, of course. And I seem to have lost you, mate, again. So if you can click back on, that'd be great. Put your video on. So what I'm going to do is we're going to jump back to a more recent track now. There you are. So we just need to unmute it. Sorry,
Hello?
mate, I'm fiddling with it because there's a bit of background noise. So I'm just turning things off while we're on the track. But then it's that's it.
I ran out of
You're good. You're good. So that's you with Van, and what we're going to do now is we're going to jump back to another project that you did. We've got a CD here of a band that you recorded in your studio called Little Fish, and that features that's a trio, and I believe this is are you on guitar on this? What are you on this one? You're on, mate. I think you're there.
flute.
You're on flute.
I lost
Okay.
the picture completely. So
We can
flute.
see you. We
Yeah.
can see you. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I can't see you. I ran out of data.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. Well, we all need to put 50p in the meter now and again. It's fine this end. So this is now we're going to get another exclusive, ladies and gentlemen. Now I know you like these. So this is a track that's not on the album. So this is a lovely album. It's called Balloon. The album's called Balloon. The band's called Little Fish. And this was recorded back in 2008, 2009. There's a couple of session dates on this. So and this is Lee on flute, and who's the drummer on? It's Chris Hyson on the bass, isn't it?
Morrison, yeah, there's a great drummer, Gethin Jones.
And these are these students of yours? Because I forgot to say that you've of course been done a lot of teaching, and when you were living in Newport, you were professor at the conservatoire there, and
Actually, I did one day a week for about 15 years,
yeah.
and started with this big band, and out of that grew the summer school, really.
And yeah, we were talking earlier. I hadn't realised this, and I'm making and learning stuff and making connections all the time. So of course, Lee's been a tutor on the jazz summer school for many years. But you were telling me about how it all started there with Keith Tippett coming into the college, and not the summer school, how the jazz course started at the Cardiff with Keith Tippett running some improvisation classes, which you were involved with as well through playing in his band as well. Is that right?
Yeah, he got coaches to come in for each section. So I was coaching the altos, Paul Dunmore was coaching the tenors, Simon Gore was the drum coach, Dylan Fowler, guitar coach, and Dave Goodyear on bass, the bass coach. And then people just asked if they could have second study with us, and then we started the course that way,
And it built, and that turned into the jazz course at the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama, ladies and gentlemen.
Paula Gardner came in and took it over, and it's run for many years now.
And she's still there. She's head of jazz there still now. And and Chris was a student there, and the drummer too. So let's hear a little bit of that, and then we'll come back and talk a bit more.
Chris Gilligan was a brilliant pianist. I did his audition. He's a brilliant player, and he kind of disappeared. I don't know where he is. Bristol, I think.
Okay, fantastic. So this is Toolbox. It's an exclusive, and it's from the album Balloon. Yeah, and that was Toolbox there. How about that? Give him a nice clap, ladies and gentlemen. That was Toolbox. It's from the album called Balloon, and that's the band Little Fish featuring Lee Goodall on flute. And that's it's fantastic stuff, Lee. It's a really, really swinging, beautiful
it's
band.
inspiring.
Yeah.
Very vibrant musicians, as you can hear. Very accurate rhythmically and inventive and
great players. Yeah. And these are some of the ex-students of Lee's that he taught at the conservatoire there. And so there was a couple of pictures that flashed up there, and I should explain. So what I love about Lee is he's a true artist, ladies and gentlemen, and as you can hear and tell, and he's the first person when I asked him to send in some pictures, he sent some pictures that he took. That not just pictures of himself, which I think was just fantastic. And so some of those really beautiful pictures there are from just pictures that you took with your phone. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm an accidental photographer. I thought my phone was me, and I see something I like, and I just snap it. I don't really sort of spend a lot of time setting anything up.
Great shots, yeah. They're very, very atmospheric and emotive, and it fits the music beautifully. I think it's nice having some of those shots on there.
Thank you. Yeah.
They're lovely, mate. Yeah, fantastic. So there was also a few album covers cropping up there. I noticed one with the Van Morrison on Blue Note. So I'm learning that you're a Blue Note recording artist too.
I am now.
How about that? I mean, come on, folks. A Blue Note recording artist, and there was Live in Warsaw there as well. And, of course, what you've got to remember to add to your CV now, of course, is Orpington Liberal Club as well. So we'll have to... I've still got the poster from when you came and played, so you can put that in there as well. So, that was a lovely gig. I remember that. It's a lovely gig, beautiful gig. And I saw an album cover there from Fravo. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that, Ben? Because again, you're working with some heavy artists there, and this was Dylan Fowler, isn't it? Who you met?
Dylan Fowler composed all the music. I met Dylan, and we became very close and played and worked out a lot of the music together at his place or my house, and worked out lots of stuff, rehearsed it quite hard, and then recorded at Roundhouse Studios in the early 90s.
Right.
And it was Danny Thompson had a recording label called the Jazz label, and there was about 6 artists came out. Martin Speak was on it, and Towns, what's his name? Mask Orchestra, Colin Towns,
yeah, and Bosco de Oliveira features on the percussion here, doesn't he?
So it's Winston Clifford, Bosco de Oliveira, Fab Kelly, Jonathan G.
Great band, yeah.
Stuart Hall and myself.
Stuart Hall, yeah, fantastic. And it's funny, I don't think I told you this, but I met Dylan years ago through a friend of ours, Kevin. Kevin Early's a percussionist who played in Fravo, I think after Bosco left. Kevin played for, and then Kevin's an old chum of mine, and I'd met Dylan in about 91 or something. So, yeah, small world. Anyway, let's hear a little bit of this. So this is a live recording from this is Brazilian Suite No. 2, and it's live at Turner Sims Concert Hall in 1993, and features a piano solo from Jonathan G. And then this is Lee again. Are you on the flute again on this, Lee?
I'm a soprano sax on this.
Soprano saxophone.
Michelle Patriciani track.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Brazilian Suite No. 2, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. So. Yeah. There's Lee on the soprano, legend. Amazing. A live gig there. Give him a round of applause.
Yeah.
So, I'm having a bit of a nightmare with the muting and unmuting. So I'm sorry if we got a bit of background noise, ladies and gentlemen. But that's the way it goes. You know, it's this is no expense spent on the technology here. Still, we can enjoy the music, and we've got the best you can get. So, Lee, Fravo, that was a hell of a band, and I think what we're going to do next, mate, is jump back to a bit more from Balloon. But before we do, a quick word about somebody's put a question in the chat box, and they said if you were on a desert island and you could only take one instrument with you, what would that be, Lee? What do you think? Because I know you know that would be tough for you, wouldn't it? With all these beautiful instruments you've got and that you play, and you play so beautifully. What would it be? Where do you think? Where do you feel?
I'd have to take the flute because I wouldn't have to supply it with reeds and everything. So, I don't want to sit down there making reeds,
Very practical.
I take the flute, the flute, and it's quite small, so I can run away from any bears or anything. Or so you don't get bears.
You could whack them around the head with it as well if you needed to. Great. So we should also mention our summer school as well, which is where we met, didn't we? And it's been I think it's 15 years I've been involved with helping to run it, but you've been there a lot longer than me. And
this would have been the 30th time I
30 years. Yeah, wow.
I started and I missed 2000 or 2001 because we had a tour with Van in America, so
right.
I couldn't do both, and that's the only one I missed. So
wow.
So I've loved the summer school. It's been introduced me to so many fantastic musicians and the students as well. Really lovely atmosphere, and I'm so sad we're not doing it this year.
Well, the connections do run very deep, don't they? I saw there was a picture of you with Julian Nicholas in there as well, who was on the show last week, of course. And we've got. I
called Roger from that gig. Actually, we were doing a gig, and it was at in Portsmouth. There's a Victorious Festival, and it was raining like crazy, and they took us in this little wheeled cart, and I got totally soaked on my right-hand side. And we turned up at the gig because we were freezing, and someone brought out these jammy dodgers, So we were jammy dodgers down. It was many laughs, but it was great.
Fantastic. And so, and so, ladies and gentlemen, this summer school is the connections run very deeply through the whole of the UK jazz scene. I think the connections that have been there and still go there, that go on there, it's really quite something. And if anyone's interested, we are running an online version this year. So we've got a 3-day summer school starting in August. Go to my website. There's a link there. It's the original UK Jazz Summer School. It's actually run, this is the first year the actual regular summer school has not run since 1966, which has got to be some sort of record. It's the longest running, certainly the largest jazz summer school in the country, and it's been in South Wales for a very long time, and of course our dear friend Dave Wickens ran it for many years as well. And we've made some great connections through that, and we'll be hearing some more. We're having some more tutors on for the next few weeks as well. So let's jump back to the Balloon CD, and this is a track, and this is Brown Rice. Is anything you want to say about this, Lee? What instrument are you playing on this one?
I'm playing alto sax, alto tube. It's a really interesting sort of Lenny Tristano-ish kind of sound to it. It's not completely chromatic. There's lots of little skips within the lines, and I play it in unison with Chris Gilligan on piano. So,
fantastic. So this is Brown Rice. The band is Little Fish, and the album is Balloon. And I'll be putting some links up on our Facebook page, ladies and gentlemen. So if you check us out on Facebook, Orpington Jazz Club on Facebook, I'll try and put some links up on there as well. And of course, don't forget our tip jar. If you've enjoyed the music and you've had a good time and learned something tonight, then perhaps do feel free to make a donation. PayPal.me, Buster Birch, and Lee and I will be splitting that, and that we do gratefully receive any donations, especially at the moment when there's there's not any gigs, so this is does actually help a lot. So here we go. This is a bit from that same album, Brown Rice. Yeah, fantastic. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And that was Lee on the alto. Is that right, Lee? Oh, sorry, I've muted you again. Oh, you're back. He's got it. Fantastic. Sorry, mate. So that was the alto, and somebody's asked, how many instruments do you play, Lee? So do you want to give us a rundown on the? It's all the saxophones, all the flutes. I know that we've listed that. It's guitar and drums. That I know that you do. and plus lots of other percussion and you got to get a vibraphone. You got I think you've got a marimba at the moment, haven't you? Oh, are you there? Oh, here he is. Yeah. So we had a little freeze in the.
Oh, yeah, like 250 megabytes of data.
Oh, you're just about to go, are you? Okay. Well, we're nearly done.
I know why I'm running out. I sent all those pictures to you.
Sent in all those pictures, yes.
That's what's done it. Yeah. Oh, there I am.
Well, if we have to go, we have to go. We're nearly out of time anyway. So what I will say, ladies.
When I was a kid, we had a TV. We had to put 60 bits in. You know, we rented a TV, and it would always run out right at the prime bits of the program, and we were looking for 60.
Well, it's been great having you on, Lee, and it's always a pleasure. And you always blow me away whenever I hear you. And you know, I've been very fortunate to play a few gigs with you. And in fact, we played at Christmas, didn't we? And you were doing some percussion, and we were sitting next to each other. And I was playing some drums, and you were playing percussion. That was lovely, wasn't it?
It was great. And then that was Joe Lindbergh's band.
Joe Lindbergh, that's right, down in Southampton, yeah. And I went, of course, last year on a boat, wasn't it? On a big old, on a gunboat, an old Nelson ship we played on, I think.
Like a sailing battleship thing with cannons everywhere, wasn't it?
Cannons, that's right, yeah. But you just blow me away every time I hear you, and it's been great to hear some of this other music that you've done, some of which I wasn't aware of, and again, you know, I've always thought you were just an artist of the highest caliber, and clearly dedicated your whole life to music. It's very inspiring, you know, and you know, there's a lot of people that play a lot of instruments, ladies and gentlemen, but like Lee really plays them. You know, he could be like, you know, he's a professional musician at the highest level on all of them, which is it's just ridiculously. You're overachieving, mate. I think that's what they say.
A lot of spare time on my hands.
A lot of spare time, yeah. Yeah, well, we all have now. So thank you for sharing your music. It's been great fun, and it's always nice chatting to you. Have you got anything you'd like to leave us with? We're gonna finish with this tune, Little Bugs. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that? What are you playing on this?
I'm playing Topolino, which is an octave above the alto sax, and I remember Chris Hyson. I said, Chris, I would like to play something on this track, and he said, I got a track, and he pulled out this chart for Little Bugs, and it's we made some. We played it as a trio with just a darbuka, and then I overdubbed with Gethin. We put a bass drum and a shaker on it, so it's got a nice kind of strong rhythmic feel. Thanks to Gethin being a brilliant drummer, you know.
Yeah, well, it's very nice playing on here. Very nice. So once again, and Lee, you don't have the website, do you? But we've got. Where can we find you if we want to get some of your tracks? There's the Little Fish band, isn't there? I'll put some links up on Facebook. I think that's the way to do it, isn't it?
Because I got no outlets. I've never been a much of a one for selling stuff, you know. So
yeah,
I find it very hard to do that.
Well, I'll sort something out, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to find some more of Lee's music, I'll try and put some links up in the Facebook group. And so we'll leave you with this. This is Little Bugs. It's from, when was this recorded, Lee?
That would have been 2009 or 2010.
2010, yeah. Okay, great. And this is one of Chris Hyson's compositions. And it's been a great pleasure. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll give you Lee Goodall. Thanks very much, everybody, for tuning in. And don't forget the tip jar. And we'll see you next week. I've got Malcolm Earl Smith on next week, so it'll be a great night of swing. He's always very entertaining and a lot of fun, and he'll be telling about all his projects and touring with Brian Ferry and again the summer school that he works with, and he's a great singer as well. So we might get some scat singing next week. So once again, Lee Goodall, thanks, mate. I really appreciate you doing this. We're going to finish with this track. Thanks, mate. And this is Little Bugs. Yeah, and that's Lee Goodall once again, ladies and gentlemen. Amazing. What a great, amazing musician and artist. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you, Lee. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Really great. Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. Take care of yourselves and see you next week. And we'll be here with Malcolm L. Smith. And tell your friends, join the mailing list, and they can get a free admission to the show. Good night.
Good night.